Hey, how you doing? What's up, guys? Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Just past 5 a.m. on BC time, and I gotta tell you, man, what a weekend. What a weekend. What a week on this channel, man. I can't remember the last time I dished out this much content. And it was really cool to see the world of professional wrestling come together over the weekend like it usually does, man. It doesn't matter what promotion, what organization, if you're associated with professional wrestling, this is always a big weekend for everybody. And it was no different on this platform, on this channel for BC. You guys always thank BC for the content. If you don't mind allowing BC to take the time to thank all of you guys. I say this all the time on the live streams. This thing is not fun at all without my amplified unit. So if you took any time at all this week to either smash that subscription button, smash a like, leave a comment, throw BC a coffee, whatever it was, if you showed any type of support this week, man, right back at you. Much love and respect. I truly mean that, man. What a turnout this weekend. Night number one's review for WrestleMania. Over 20,000 views thus far. Last night, man, we did the WrestleMania Night 2 review an hour and 45 minutes before Monday Night Raw. Literally the last reviewer to cover WrestleMania. And we are over 10,000 views as of press time. I mean, that's not just BC, man. That's all you guys. So thank you for a tremendous, not just weekend, but an entire week. We're going to go over Monday Night Raw, the final 2 hours in this review. Oh, my Dunkin' Donuts, man. My Dunkin' Donuts is already brewed. I'm about to set that son of a bitch up in a second. But this is the final 2 hours of Raw last night. The first hour, I gave you guys a bonus in last night's WrestleMania 2 review, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We did a company switch up, company move, we call that in the entertainment business. And we did a little bit of a location transition, and we went over to the big screen, and we did the first hour of Raw live together, a live reaction. So it was, we had a lot of fun in last night's video, and thank you to the 10,000 plus that have already tuned in. So because we already did hour number one last night, this is going to be the final 2 hours, guys. And it's a bummer we couldn't go live. I wanted to go live with this review, but there's, with the week that we just had and all the content being dished out, we kind of neglected a lot of things, and now there's a lot on our plate, a lot on the agenda today. So just past 5 a.m., now's the time we gotta film. So it's a bummer I couldn't go live, but the good news is, okay, I got some good news. Put my fucking hazelnut creamer up in this bitch. The good news is there's a 95% chance that I can be live with you guys this Friday night for SmackDown. So that's pretty cool, man. I don't usually get to do Friday nights live. And I'm talking the entire 2 hours, the whole show. So it's a bummer I couldn't go live for this one, but maybe Friday, guys. The entire show. If you guys are wondering why I can't do Wednesday nights AEW, Wednesday nights just don't work for me. I barely get home in time to catch the start of the show. So there's no time to do a prep and a live stream. Otherwise, I would love to do Wednesday nights as well. And if I ever get the chance, trust me, I will. If there's any AEW fans out there that wouldn't mind a live reaction. So, and if so, let me know down below, man. If you're an AEW fan, you would like to see live reactions of AEW, feel free to let me know, dude. But last night, dude, Cody Rhodes started the show off. Again, we're not going to go over hour number one, but I do want to give a Cody Rhodes tidbit in this cold open. Cody Rhodes did wrestle after Raw went off the air. It's called a dark match. Cody Rhodes wrestled Kevin Owens in approximately a 6-minute match. During the match, it looked like The Rock's mama held Owens. Cody brought Owens over to the barricade. It looked like The Rock's mom. I have to see another video of it. The video that I saw looked like it was The Rock's mom that kind of held Owens in place while Cody was delivering some blows. And then afterwards, Cody hugged The Rock's mom. Brought Kevin Owens into the ring and delivered Crossroads. So a pretty cool moment there with Cody sending the fans home happy. So it looks like he is going to be a main eventer. We saw that match with Seth Rollins, but just given that dark, first of all, starting Raw, given that dark match, sending everybody home happy, looks like Cody is going to be a big-time player. I just hope that Vince keeps his word and keeps him as such. I gotta believe Cody will not let his booking go off the rails. He cares too much about his image, perception, and as we learned over Hall of Fame weekend, perception is reality. But on to Monday Night Raw now, man. Again, the last 2 hours. The first hour we already did. It's in that WrestleMania Night 2 live review. So go check that out, man. We put it up late last night, literally right before Raw. Bianca Belair is starting hour number 2 with a promo. Nothing very newsworthy, but a great chance for Texas to show that love for the EST one last time for the weekend that she just had. So I did think that was pretty cool, but nothing actually happened. She cut some words, she took off. That was kind of the theme of the night. Cody Rhodes, say some words, take off. Bianca, say some words, take off. Kevin Owens, I mean, we had Ezekiel, Elias's younger brother. I don't know why people think it's Elias. But then Owens just kind of walks away from him. Roman in the final segment of the night, which we'll get to. I mean, it's almost like Vince McMahon was a little, creatively bankrupt on the whole situation of WrestleMania. And afterwards, he's like, oh yeah, we have to keep running shows, don't we? So there was nothing really here with Bianca, but it was a good promo and a good way for everyone to show that love and adulation. And for her to show that title, hang it up, hold it up really high to let the world know that this time it's going to be a lot more badass and she ain't going to be beaten 26 seconds by nobody. Hopefully not. Because BC said, man, when Bianca Belair lost at SummerSlam last year in 26 seconds to Becky Lynch, man, that didn't just derail the momentum of Bianca. That totally ruined everything that Sasha Banks was working towards to help Bianca Belair. I mean, that loss to Bianca at WrestleMania, when you know you're one of the best wrestlers in the world like Sasha Banks is, and you're going to do the job like that to Bianca, and to see that ruined a few months later the way it was in 26 seconds at SummerSlam, man, I mean, you derailed Sasha and Bianca at that point. So now we're going to try to rectify our wrongs. It's going to take double the effort, but luckily somebody like Bianca Belair will get the job done. You just got to book her correctly. No more of that 26-second bullshit. So it was really cool. There was a moment here where she took her glasses off, revealing a black eye that she got. And I think I know exactly where this moment was in the match Saturday night. Becky Lynch was going for this kind of somersault in the air off the top rope. Her boot landed square in the mug of Bianca. And if you guys go back to the live stream, we did a live reaction for night 1. One of the milestones of the weekend for this channel, by the way, because that was nearly an 8-hour live stream day. We did Stand and Deliver earlier in the day, over 3 hours of live stream, live reaction. Took a couple hours off, and then we did over 4 hours of WrestleMania 1. So that's kind of a little BC pat on the back there, man. There was a lot of milestones on the channel this week. That was one of them. What a crazy, wild Saturday we had. But my point is, when you go back to that live reaction, when that moment happened and Bianca got booted right in the face, man, BC stopped this. I was like, wait, show the replay on that. She got fucked up, man. Like, Becky got her square. And sure enough, upon replays, I was like, dude, that's going to leave a mark. So she takes her glasses off, revealing this big black eye. It's got to be from that moment. It was kind of a funny moment here where right around the time she did that, revealing that black eye, the crowd starts chanting, "You deserve it." And obviously they're talking about the title reign, but it seems to be right when she revealed the black eye and everyone's yelling, "You deserve it." And I was like, wait, what? Bad timing, Dallas. Bad timing. But congratulations again. You guys know how high I am on Bianca Belair. So what a weekend for her and for us to be able to watch her do her thing. She just keeps getting better. every single appearance, every show that I see her on, this confidence is just ignited tenfold. And it's so cool to see in Bianca Belair. So, great weekend for her. Nothing newsworthy here, but still a good moment. Up next, it was kind of odd. We had an NXT title match, Dolph Ziggler versus Braun Breaker. Now, this is actually a rematch from Saturday afternoon's Stand and Deliver event. That was from NXT. That was their little premium event Saturday afternoon, which again, we did a live reaction of that. Go back and check it out if you haven't. In that match, Dolph was able to retain his title. This match was a horse of a different color. Braun pins Ziggler clean and becomes the new NXT champion of the world. Now, I don't have a problem with this up front, right? Dolph did his job, right? Go down there, work with Braun some more, right? Vince obviously is high on Braun Breaker. And just like Vince does with Natty Neidhart, when there's a new female that comes in and they're green, like Aaliyah and so many others, they'll have them work with Natty first, right? Or somebody they can trust. Usually it's Natty. In WWE, you'll see Vince put them with people like AJ Styles, like Omos, tie them to the hip of AJ Styles. Matt Riddle, okay, he's a good wrestler, but you could tell he does not get the WWE way to do things. So tie him up with Randy Orton for a fucking year. Braun Breaker, Vince is high on him. Let's send one of the best down there. Dolph Ziggler, even though his booking doesn't show it, is one of the best wrestlers in the world still to this day. So Dolph goes down there. His job is complete. Maybe they let him play around a little bit more in NXT because I think it's been successful with Dolph in NXT. But he did his job, man. Produce some really good matches with Braun Breaker, and the job was complete. The storyline was good with Braun and Dolph, even Tommaso in that story. The matches were good. Dolph did his job. So I'm okay with Braun getting that belt back. That's the natural trajectory. But my issue with this, my one big problem with it is, it was on Monday Night Raw. No, man. It's the NXT Championship. That thing should be changing hand at pay-per-views. Premium events for NXT. If you have to once in a blue moon, it can change hands on the TV show. Tuesday nights. If you have to, once in a blue moon. But on Monday Night Raw, bro, that's what I mean about blurring the lines. I understand there's basically not a brand split anymore anyway. It's not just for WrestleMania season. There's usually, whenever Vince wants to move a puzzle piece, he just moves it. And to see the NXT title changing hands on Monday Night Raw, it just didn't sit well with me. I think it takes away from the NXT brand. I know Vince is hoping for the opposite. Let's try to attract more eyeballs, and maybe it works. I feel when it comes to prestige, it takes away from the brand. So that was my only problem with it. Not the title changing hands, because again, I think everybody did their job perfectly. And that was the moment to do such, but just not on that show. You couldn't have waited 24 hours later? Do it on NXT grounds? That's BC's issue with it. I don't run the company, man. That's 76-year-old Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who takes the worst Stone Cold Stunners known to mankind. Not Mick Foley. Up next was Bobby Lashley and MVP, a promo with the two. I like this segment, man. This may shock you because Omos is involved, but this is finally what works. Let me explain. Bobby Lashley and MVP are in a promo. Omos interrupts. And finally, Omos is booked correctly. MVP turns on Bobby Lashley. Omos and MVP destroy Lashley as MVP screams, and I quote, "You don't need me anymore, huh? I bet you wish you had me now, huh?" Screaming that in Lashley's face. MVP even got physical with Lashley, taking his right fucking foot and putting it right in Bobby Lashley's mouth. Booted that son of a bitch with a harsh haluva kick. MVP and Omos shake hands afterwards. And BC's thinking, this not only makes sense, but for Omos, it's needed. This is what we should have had from the beginning. Never should he have been tied at the hip, attached to AJ Styles for the better part of a year. Because that's what happened. You took one of the best wrestlers in the world, AJ Styles, you tied him up with Omos, and it led to nothing. The crowd never got captivated. AJ Styles lost prestige in the process, and it was all said and done. The payoff was AJ Styles getting squashed by Omos in the middle of a Monday Night Raw. That was the ultimate payoff of their tag team implosion. Nothing worked. Omos goes to WrestleMania a few months later, which was this past Sunday night. The crowd didn't react at all, and if they did, it was for Bobby Lashley. That's not shade to Omos. He just wasn't booked properly. He's still greener than Lambeau Field grass in Green Bay, Wisconsin. There's a lot of work that Omos needs. So where do you begin? Well, you begin from the starting line. Obviously, you wouldn't start up a race at the finish line. You don't start the NFL football season with the Super Bowl. You know, unless you're NASCAR starting with the Daytona 500, you always start at the beginning. How do you start Omos's process to good booking? You put him with a really good mouthpiece, a manager. Somebody like Omos back in the 80s. Fuck the 90s, let's just go to the 80s. They would be with a manager. You guys know that. Andre the Giant would have Bobby the Brain Heenan. One Man Gang would have Slick. You know, Jimmy Hart would be attached to some fucking mammoth. It just, you would have that, man. So why is Omos fucking going through the WWE terrain, the wild of WWE, on his own? You know, we saw how that worked with fucking Giant Gonzalez, did we not? Do I need to bring up Giant Gonzalez? You know, if you don't learn from your lessons, the history is just doomed to repeat itself. This makes sense. MVP, Bobby Lashley looks like he's a face now, right? We saw it definitively at WrestleMania. Last night when he's out there with MVP cutting a promo, I'm like, this doesn't work, guys. If you want Lashley to be a face, MVP can no longer be with him. I'm literally, like, basically shouting at the big screen at this point, because at this point, we're no longer live for the reaction. Right, we already ended the live stream. It's into hour number 2, obviously. That's why we're going over it. So I'm like basically yelling at the fucking screen while I'm making my next coffee. Like, this has got to end with them. Omos comes out. I didn't even think about the turn like that. I didn't even think about that happening right there. But when it happened, I thought, A, it makes perfect sense. And B, even more importantly, Omos needs MVP. Needs MVP. If there is any way in this world, on this planet, if there's any way that Omos is going to not just get over, but give us a feeling that we give a fuck about anything Omos does, if there's any way imaginable or possible, this is the best chance with MVP. That's how I'll leave this segment. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, what the fuck what are we doing here? But Omos with MVP is better than Omos without MVP. Lashley without MVP is better than Lashley with MVP. I hope you guys are keeping score. So I thought that was actually a good strategy and a good move. Hour number 2 ends with the Mella-Zelina breakup. That's right, Zelina and Mella are in the ring. They're about to have a tag match, it looks like. But Zelina grabs a mic. She's upset that Mella lost them the title match Sunday night for WrestleMania Night 2. So she literally tells Mella that you're the reason that we lost this match. And she goes on for a little bit, man. The frustration was starting to set in for Zelina. And Mella gets upset with Vega for yelling at her. And Mella tells Vega she was almost going to be a bridesmaid at her wedding with Corey Graves, but now she's just going to be a flower girl. And Mella actually pokes Zelina in her head when she says that. You're going to be a flower girl. Boop. And Vega totally loses it, man. And the queen is put on the shelf. The queens in her comes out. So the queen got put on the shelf. The Queen's New York of her, that came out. And she just started beating the shit out of Mella. And the segment ends with Mella and Graves making out uncomfortably. And I say uncomfortably because, I mean, they stayed on it for like a minute. And Mella's got her whole tongue in Corey's mouth. And the camera's zooming in on it. And I'm like, okay, we got 10 seconds, man. It's not a fucking... what the fuck? We get it. You know, you don't even see a movie where they're doing that for more than a minute unless it's a fucking X-rated, how you doing? WWE has this new odd obsession with making out lately. Have you guys noticed Reggie and Dana Brooke, Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell, and then there's another couple as well on NXT. In the Indy Hartwell Dexter Lumis storyline, it's a double makeout session on NXT Tuesday nights. Then we had Corey Graves and Mella, full-blown French kiss makeout session. Every show for WWE, man, they have to have a makeout session. It's a weird... It's really odd. We've seen enough. Okay, we get it, man. Vince's new obsession is making out. Oh, man. Really odd. You could have got the point across with 20 seconds. But that's where we are. That's how we ended hour number 2 with the makeout session with Mella and Corey Graves. Hour number 3 kicks off with a 6-man schmaz. Austin Theory and the Usos versus Finn Balor and RK Bro. Now, I don't understand how Finn Balor gets into this, why he's in this match. Because him and Austin Theory have already had 16 matches together. So, what, I mean, because they're the only singles, right? Because then you have the Raw Tag Champions, RK Bro, the SmackDown Champions, the Usos. Okay, that's one thing. But Austin Theory's single opponent is Finn Balor again? I don't know. From the jump, the booking of this was off the rails, but usually an RK Bro match doesn't do anything for me anyway. I just can't stand Randy Orton with Matt Riddle. You guys know that. I don't giggle with them. I don't like them together. I know that may be an unpopular statement because there is RK Bro fans out there and everybody giggles, and I don't mind it, Beasley. It's funny. They work well together. Randy Orton should have been a lot more than that this whole past year. In a day and age, especially for this company, where WWE needs larger-than-life superstars, people to feel like main eventers. Randy Orton is one of the guys at the top that should be that guy, and he's playing around in a fucking tag team for a year. And I just, you know, this is a guy who should be a bad guy. He should be a diabolical heel, the Viper, the legend killer that we all remember. And he should be in a big feud with Cody. Legacy. Remember Legacy? They implode. Even bring back Ted DiBiase Jr. He's ready to get back into wrestling, he said recently. Bring him back into the storyline. This is the ultimate teacher-student feud, man. Randy Orton was the guy. Cody Rhodes was basically an unknown at that time other than his last name. But Orton took him in as Legacy. Cody is now back as a fucking main event superstar. The storyline's sitting in your lap, and I hope that Randy Orton will sooner rather than later turn on Riddle, end that thing. Then, unfortunately, we have to have a 2 to 3 month fucking feud with those two, Riddle and Orton, once they break up. And then, maybe a fucking year down the road, I don't know when, if the sooner the better we can get this over with Riddle, then we can start an awesome, maybe for WrestleMania next year then, maybe. But it's sitting in their lap if they want to do that. By then, does Cody have the championships? Right? Does Cody beat Roman Reigns, man? We talked about it on the live stream yesterday. I think it was JR9 Gaming. We talked about how Roman doesn't really need the title with The Rock. I have a bunch of scenarios that I could make it work and make it fun. But he doesn't need it to go against The Rock. Is Cody the guy to take it from Roman? And then you finally make Randy Orton relevant again in a main eventer, and is Orton going for the title at... I don't know, man. There's a lot of ways I can go, but it's sitting in their lap. My point is, this 6-man schmaz did nothing for me from the booking up front. The match itself did nothing for me. I know, Beastly, it was some good action. I didn't care about it, man. Theory pins Balor. That was your finish. So Balor just gets another fucking loss. You know, good retribution for Theory after Mania. So I don't want to take anything away from Theory. This was a good little bounce back. But how much more dirt can you possibly pile on top of the United States champion Finn Balor? Honestly, how much more dirt can you pile on this guy? You realize the title is like a curse to him at this point. Since he's got the title, this guy is on basically nothing but a losing streak. He lost twice in one night last Friday, right before WrestleMania, this past Friday. Finn Balor lost twice in one night. This past WrestleMania, he wasn't even asked to be a part of the show. He wasn't even asked to be a part of WrestleMania. And then last night, he loses a nonsensical and irrelevant six-man schmaz match. Since he's gotten the title, this guy has been booked even worse, somehow, than when he didn't have the title. And he was made to be flat on his back looking up at the lights last night. How fucking sad is that if your name is Finn Balor, bro? At this point, you're trying to hand the title back to Vince. I don't want the shit. Mind-boggling to me. Back in the day, your mid-card titles, which then for WWE, there was only one main one. It was the Intercontinental Championship. Guys, I'm talking about before the US title even. I know a lot of you guys were born a little bit after the 90s or late 90s, so you probably remember the US title vividly. But I'm talking even before that, man. The IC title was the only one. I could not imagine the Intercontinental title holders being booked like this. Bret Hart, British Bulldog. I couldn't imagine people like that. The Razor Ramones, I couldn't imagine them losing twice in one show right before WrestleMania. And then at WrestleMania, not even being asked to be a part of the show. The title's not even a part of it. Then the very next show, you lose again flat on your back. I could never imagine IC champions from the past being booked like that. And I can't imagine it because it never happened, nor would it have ever happened. These days, these mid-card titles, to say irrelevant would be an understatement. To say not prestigious, sadly, is the truth. Edge and Damien Priest promo is up next. The crowd was extremely cringeworthy and odd in this match, man, or in this promo. Edge calls them sheep. Just part of his promo. He's not like extra irked. He's not extra pissed off. He just calls them sheep in his promo. So they start chanting, "We are sheep. We are sheep." And BC's like, well, that's an odd chant. That's not something you should be proud of. If you think this is like, I don't understand that chant. That irked me more than "this is awesome" when things are not awesome. But they chanted, "We are sheep." Perhaps the only chant I've ever heard worse than that actually came a minute or two after, when Edge later called them losers. And then they chanted, "We are losers. We are losers." And thankfully it was not the whole crowd. I mean, you could tell this was just a few hundred very vocal motherfuckers who probably came to a reality that they're losers. I don't know. But this... quite possibly the dumbest chants I've ever heard any crowd utter, and I've watched over 3 decades of this product. In this industry, I've done my due diligence in watching over 3 decades plus, and I've never heard a chant probably dumber than that. "We are sheep, we are losers." That was very interesting and very telling. Very odd, very cringeworthy to listen to that. It was kind of cool because at one point, Priest looks at the crowd when they were chanting, "We are losers." Priest looks out to them and says, "Thanks for letting us know." I loved it. I'm like, right, how do you respond to that? Fucking hundreds of people telling Edge and Priest that they're losers. So odd, man. What a weird I think they thought they were being cool, maybe? Got that shit. AJ Styles hits the ring, but the numbers game prevails. Pretty cool double team as Edge hits a spear on Styles, and Priest simultaneously delivers a leg sweep. Sweep the leg! Cobra Kai never dies. So you had a spear from Edge, simultaneously a sweep from Priest. I thought that was pretty cool, pretty badass. A concerto was about to follow, but WWE officials made the save for Styles. The crowd tried to redeem themselves with a Jamie Noble chant. That I can get behind. I have much respect for Jamie Noble. I believe he was the producer for the McAfee Austin Theory match, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I presume all the chaos that went on after that as well was a lot of Vince McMahon, Stone. I think there was a lot of input afterwards with the shenanigans and the stunners and the beer bash. But the match itself with McAfee and Austin Theory, that was produced agent-wise by Jamie Noble. I've always thought Jamie Noble has a good mind for the business. I always used to love Jamie Noble as a performer. You guys remember him in Nydia? Does anybody remember that combo? I'm Jamie Noble! Let me in the building! I'm Jamie Noble! I used to love that character, bro. And Nydia, I always found was a fucking a little hottie, too. I think she was from Tough Enough, right? Or one of those little game show things where you get to become a fucking wrestler. Anyway, that's a little side spiel there. A little side note. Brody from AEW, of course, he's attached with not Brody King. Much love to Brody Lee, obviously. Brody King, he's attached to Malachi Black. And there's been the comparisons with Edge and Priest and Malachi and Brody. Brody took to his social and he's like, he's basically calling them a bootleg version of them. I forgot his exact words, but that's basically what he was alluding to. So that set off a little bit of a firestorm, and people are like, who are you? Like, this is WrestleMania. He's fucking Edge, and you're calling them a bootleg, and this set off another one of those WWE, AEW type tribalism wars. Everybody needs to relax, guys. Shots are going to be traded at times. I think it's all in fun. I have no doubt, or I wouldn't think that Brody has any disrespect or non-respect for Edge. I think Brody has the utmost. Sometimes you just have a little bit of fun. I'm chalking it up to that. So I don't think Brody was trying to be fucking malicious in those words. I think they do. I think him and Malachi do look at themselves as original in this business. And I think when somebody like Edge and somebody like Priest comes along and their new gimmick, I think it's kind of impeding on their territory they may feel. And because WWE is obviously on a bigger stage, I mean, none more evident than this past weekend, you're going to trump. You're going to get trumped even though you feel you're the original. So, I'm not saying that he doesn't kind of think they're a bootleg, but I don't think there was malice in it. I don't know, man. It's not that I'm sticking up for Brody King. I just think we may be making a little bit more into it. Unless Brody goes more in depth, and actually is pissed off about it. But I think Edge and Damien Priest, I think they work perfectly together. I totally believe this Edge character, and obviously this was always kind of Damien's character anyway, this darker side. And this was always Edge too, man, straight from the Brood days, just a different take on it. He's older now, a little bit more methodical. A little bit more fucking cerebral in his approach, so it's much believable. I don't really see it as a copy. Moving on, Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits. Adam Pearce hits the top of the ramp for no reason, and he seems pissed off. He's got extra bass in his voice. He's yelling. BC's like, chill, brah. Someone just took one too many of his Flintstone vitamins. Adam Pearce came out fucking bowing up with his chest out. Chill out, bro. This guy came out and he just started shouting, this is a tornado tag match. Because, damn it, I said so. And I'm like, damn. Adam Pearce is feisty. So this tag match became a tornado tag. And when it was all said and done, if you're wondering, should it have been a tornado tag? Guys, no. There was no reason. Literally, I think a table got used once. I think it was the finish, correct? It was a frog splash from Tez, top rope, onto Gable through a table that ended the match. So Gable loses yet again. You guys remember at WrestleMania, Gable was the one to eat the pin off of a badass RKO. But he's the one who was flat on his back looking up at the lights. And then moments later, he gets fucking suplexed belly to belly style by Gable Steveson. So Gable just got double fucked up. And then last night, Gable's fucking taking another L. I just wish they would give this guy a little bit more spotlight. Book him as a winner. The guy's pretty good. But anyway, that was the reason it was a tornado, so the match could end through a table. Wow. Good thing we had tornado rules, brah. And then, guys, we were already at our main event segment, which was reserved for the Bloodline, and more specifically, Roman Reigns. A legit needle mover. You saw the rating that he pulled last week, man. Wow, a 2.3 plus for Monday Night Raw. The second hour, guys. Usually the first hour garners probably your biggest. Everybody tunes in right from the jump to see if they need to stick around. They're full of fucking angst and gusto at the top of the show. And then as time drags on, especially for Raw, you lose the viewers. Hour number 2, Roman Reigns got a 2.3 plus. That's unheard of in today's Monday Night Raw. So he's a definite needle mover, obviously. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that ending the show after 3 hours. I'm guessing a lot of viewers already dropped off. But definite fucking pulls in the numbers. And Paul Heyman, the whole first part of this promo was just Paul Heyman talking about all the box office smash numbers that they did over the last year. And he is right. Roman was the guy for it all. Peacock was up 53% this weekend for WrestleMania. A massive WrestleMania weekend for Peacock. You know they're happy. The suits and ties are happy. This is going to be a very good Tuesday morning. When everybody arrives back in Stamford, Connecticut this morning, there's going to be a lot of happy motherfuckers, man. The numbers are showing through the roof. This has been a massively, wildly successful WrestleMania weekend for Vince McMahon, investors, shareholders, Peacock, Fox. The go-home show for Fox pulled in over 2.3 as a total show. Their highest since the Super SmackDown many, many moons ago. SmackDown is fucking happy. Raw pulled in its highest rating this past Monday, last Monday, the go-home show. I mean, guys, I expect their biggest number to come actually from last night. That could probably top the go-home show. So everybody is fucking happy if you're in WWE this morning in Stamford. So Paul Heyman pretty much reiterated all those numbers. And it was a really good promo by Roman Reigns, man. The bass in his voice, the amplification, Dallas, acknowledge me. But he started talking about, he didn't even want to talk too much about Brock. He's talked about what's next. And he says that we have to wait till Friday. But Friday, he'll unveil what is next in the Roman's agenda, his plans. And I love how he calls Paul Wise Man. Wise Man. What do you always say, wise man? What's good for Roman is good for WWE. And Wise Man is there right there to kiss Roman's ass. Perfect. I mean, Paul Heyman is a gem in this industry. Always has been, always will be. But that was it. That's what shocked BC. It was a good promo by the Wise Man, Paul Heyman. A good promo by Roman. But that was it. After he said Friday night is when you'll find out what's next for Roman, we ended the show, man. We were off the air moments later. And I was like, wow, it's one thing to have a simplistic promo with Cody. Which was good, by the way, talking about his pops. We went over that in hour number 1 live in yesterday's video, hour number 1 of Raw. Cody's promo was damn good. We liked Bianca Belair's promo. Owens had that real thing with Elias's younger brother, Ezekiel. But then Owens just walks away. And then we got it again with Roman, where just a lot of promos with nothing of substance. You know, it's almost like everybody blew their load over WrestleMania weekend creatively. And then they were like, just go out there and talk. Roman ends the show, and that was it. He comes out, they have a good promo, but it ends with, oh, you want to know what's next? Come back Friday. And the crowd live is like, wait, what the fuck? Shouldn't we end this, like, the right way? Like, we got to end this with a big party, man. Something big has to happen. No, Roman just says you'll find out Friday what my next move is. And BC just felt that was very anticlimactic. A lot more to be desired in that final segment, especially if you waited, because he is a needle mover, man. A lot of people want to see what's going to happen next with Roman. The ratings show you that. Even if you don't like Roman, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I know a lot of Amplified Unit members, they just don't like Roman. They'll list you paragraphs of why. And that's fine. But factually, he's a needle mover. Factually, I mean, the numbers tell you that. Right? I mean, that's just facts. And it's just, to have him just walk away saying, hey, find out, come back Friday. I don't know. It was odd, man. So that was kind of a downer for BC. I was hoping for something big. A lot of people thought The Rock was going to show up. If he didn't show up at Mania, do you think The Rock is showing up to Monday Night Raw? A much smaller audience, much smaller headlines? No, Rock was going to show up at Mania if that was going to happen. So now I guess we're going to look at SummerSlam for The Rock to show up and start this with Roman Reigns. That's why Cody hugged Rock's mama, right? Rock comes back, costs Roman a match, Cody wins the titles, sets up Roman and Rock. It all started with a hug. Remember this Monday, April 4th, dark match after Raw, Cody versus Kevin Owens. Cody hugs the Rock's mama in the dark match, and it starts the ripple effect. Guys, that's Monday Night Raw. Again, hour number 1, we went live after the WrestleMania review, live reaction in last night's video. Go check out hour number 1 if you haven't. There were some audio issues, all apologies. But we rocked out, and this was the final 2 hours. So this ends WrestleMania weekend with this review. What a fucking week. Again, you guys always thank me, and I appreciate that, man. It is a lot of work to run a channel like this. It is. But I never take it for granted. I always stay humbled with it. And I always want to make sure that you guys know that I'm thanking you, because without you guys as the full amplified unit audience, man, this shit is not fun. Would I still be doing it? Probably. I'd do it if 25 people were fucking viewing, I would probably do it, right? 25 people is like a whole classroom. I look at it, right? So I'll shoot the shit about pro wrestling, but to know that thousands of you guys, show up and show that love and support, man. It's awesome. And on a weekend like this where it's just magical, man, as much as it didn't feel like WrestleMania season, storylines and feuds and lack of creative booking, everything was just off. Once Saturday night was on and we were live for that, the whole fucking night 1, we were live on this channel, and it was just magic, man. Magic. Night number 2 did not live up to night number 1. I don't think there was any way possible. It's almost like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. There was no way that anybody was going to top that. And unfortunately for everyone else, it wasn't the main event. It should have been. And because of that, nothing could top it. And in night 1, you have just magic. And night 2 was like, fuck. It's not hold my beer. They were trying to hold their drinks. They were like, fuck, man, do we have to go on? We can't beat Cody's fucking re-debut in WWE. Cody Rhodes is in WWE. Stone Cold had a match with fucking Owens. Bianca Belair becomes champion. Logan fucking Paul is getting legit heel heat with the whole Eddie Guerrero shtick. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are shaking their ass to Thunderstruck. I mean, one moment after another, man. McIntyre's taking Angela and slicing up the ring ropes. Even if it's little moments. Craziness, bro. But when it was all said and done, magical. It reminds you what WrestleMania, it reminds you what one night, or in this case, 2 nights, but really just one night, that WrestleMania, it reminds you how one night can reignite that passion in you and make you remember why you love this crazy world of professional wrestling. Because Saturday night, and it was so cool to do this live with you guys. Saturday night, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like that kid watching in the 80s for the first time. It was just magic. And that's professional wrestling, man. For me, it's just magic. And when professional wrestling is done right, there's nothing better in this world. I'm BC Amplified. Thank you so much, not for this review, not just for this weekend, but for this entire week, man. What a week. What a fucking week. BC, for the last time for Mania Week, the Man Channel, we called it all week, the Mania Amplified News Center, for the last time for Mania Week, BC is signing off. Check you.